Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Weekly Win. My name is Ken, and I'm joined with my co-host Tim.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. We got some exciting stuff on tap. I cannot wait. I get to gloat a little bit about how right I was. Uh, it's always a good thing. And we've got some other stuff to talk about, like China, North Korea. Some good stuff here. Anyway, let me start off with this, Tim.
Yeah, let's plug ourselves for a little bit and boost ourselves up.
I've waited since July for this. Those of you who watch our full shows, uh, by the way, for you YouTube watchers, there will be a link to our BitChute episode number 6, where I'm going to be talking about my side topic there, where I talked about Joe Biden's approval. Back in July, the end of July, I made the remark that his approval was probably closer to 40, possibly 50 points, but I thought it was like 40. Uh, Lo and behold, I was right. Last week, it was reported that his approval had hit about 44%, which I thought was a little high, but I digress. This week, actually today, it was reported on the Daily Wire that a YouGov, I think YouGov Economist poll, actually has his approval now somewhere in the 30s, which is what I've been saying now for about 2 or 3 weeks. Ha ha ha! Ha
Which
ha
is,
ha!
I think, my favorite part about this is the fact that not only did we call it, but you called it before he stepped out of Afghanistan, before all of that happened.
Yeah, I could have never guessed that Afghanistan was going to happen, but it did. I guess what would have happened if we were to pull out, and it did. And once again, our show is vindicated. Daily Wire, you should hire us on to at least be part-time writers. That's a plug for ourselves. No, I'm kidding. Don't really hire us.
Don't hire us, then we'd actually have to put effort into this.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
uh,
just being right now and having pretty much no responsibilities about it.
exactly. Then we'd actually have to be right, and people would expect us to be right if we were official.
Yeah.
It's more fun
Yeah.
just to be
Oh,
right.
I think Biden had an official meltdown. I think this one's more your speed, though.
Yes. Waco Kid Chipman has been nomination has been rescinded. It
Oh,
went down
yes.
much like the helicopter he lied about being in. It crashed and burned. Yeah, if you don't know your history about Waco and Chipman's involvement in it and the stories he's told about it, I would suggest looking them up because they're kind of funny. You know, photos like him standing next to burning bodies of children and women, or him claiming to have been in a helicopter that got shot down. That never happened. But according to Biden's statement, it's because of these awful, evil Republicans that are gun grabbers, or clingers, I should say, when in fact he doesn't even have enough Democratic support to ram this through, let alone the Republicans. And sometimes it's just so nice to watch things crash and burn.
Oh, it is. I'm gonna enjoy this one as well. Uh, how do I say this? The president, or at least his administration, has expressed a desire to uh, monitor Americans' bank accounts. Um,
Yeah.
in a
Our
possible
dictator in
violation of the
chief,
Fourth and 14th Amendments. So,
our dictator in chief
yeah.
thinks that you're not paying enough taxes.
You see, now if this was Trump doing it, no, everybody would be calling for his job, and rightfully so. Okay.
Yeah.
So, where's everybody for Joe Biden?
No, it's
Because
fine though because Trump was the Nazi. Can we say that? Ah, well, too late. It's okay because Trump was
it's going
that,
on
not
BitChute, we
Biden.
can say it anyway.
What are you gonna do? Kick us off YouTube? Oh no!
Oh, Bob.
But more interestingly, jumping back to some Afghanistan news, uh, the U.S. citizens have been doing a lot more than Joe Biden ever did for the men out there, men and women. And recently, they got 4 U.S. citizens across the border, which doesn't sound
uh,
like much, but it's approximately 4 more than the administration has been trying to help.
no, I think that. That was the administration they helped
Oh,
out for, and
let
like
me.
it's a thing on CNN because
Oh
they're
yeah,
bragging about it or something.
yeah. Sorry. Let's talk about then the hundreds, if not thousands, of people that private efforts have gotten out.
There we go. There we go. The Chad private investors. Who will build the roads? The private investors. Who will save the people? The private investors. There you go. Capitalism wins again.
Them and the retired military people that have gone through and risked their lives again without getting paid for it this time
God
to
bless them.
try and help out people. But
God
that
bless
doesn't
them.
solve the fact that the Biden administration is rolling over, showing our stomach to the Taliban, and not letting flights take off to get people home.
Yeah, I guess he wants them to be sitting ducks or something for like ISIS members or something. Or oh no, it's ISIS K now.
Yeah. It's the Delta
Different from the
variant of
last
ISIS.
ISIS.
It's the Delta variant of ISIS.
Oh man, is there any vaccination against that?
556.
Oof. Oof. Can we say that on YouTube?
Well,
We just did.
what are they going to do? Demonetize us?
Oh well, we don't make any money anyway. Oh,
Exactly.
money, 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 money. I got some things that'll just make you go, hmm? All
All
right.
right. What's going to make me go, hmm?
Well, you moved away from New York, so you're not going to be subjected to this. But Bill de Blasio has floated the idea of running for New York governor after his buddy Cuomo got eviscerated.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
Oh, I'm trying to wrap my head around this one, and I can't. Like, dude, you can't even run New York City. How do you think you're gonna run New York? What is this? What is
Yeah.
this guy
What's he
doing?
going to do when he has to represent people who don't like his ideas?
Call them mean names and other stuff. I don't
Oh,
know.
so he'll be just like Cuomo. He might even grow up a few troopers on the way out.
Oof, that would certainly be damning to the Democrats of New York. Oof.
Yeah, I want to say they're not that dumb, but they are.
I think they're gonna end up voting for either Bill or for Andrew Yang for that UBI. That sweet, sweet, sweet $1,000 a month.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Oh, speaking
I
of
wonder
not
how we'll
caring
get
about
it.
your people, California, they're introducing legislation to fight Amazon because Amazon's the bad guy. And while I don't agree with all the business practices of Amazon, I'm sure that California enjoys something called tax dollars, as they seem to spend them quicker than they can get them, actually. So, yeah, they're having a fun time, and I predict that Amazon will be moving out of California in the next few months here once these laws go into effect, unless, of course, Larry Elder wins and rejects such idiotic laws. But only time will tell.
If you live in California and you manage to listen to this, and you're one of the people who doesn't plan on going out to vote for that, you really should go vote for the recall there.
If you
Whether or
listen
not
to us in
you want
California, you're
Newsom,
probably on a
doesn't matter.
list. So
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
let's be honest here. Would it surprise anyone? No.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. It's not that surprising considering 2021. Oh, how about this for surprising? The German government, if I could stop tripping, the German government has protested actually to the Russian government about they call them pre-election cyber attacks, but what it is from the article I read was some data was stolen from some German lawmakers, and Germany was not very pleased by that. I think that it could possibly be some other nations doing, but I'm interested to hear what you think. You're kind of our tech guy.
I I'll admit I haven't read too much into this. I have heard about the attacks. But that's about it for my extent of knowledge. But what I will say is that Germany and Russia are not exactly on great terms right now because of the Ukraine pipeline. And with Merkel stepping down here soon, and her successor coming up, it wouldn't surprise me if Russia was trying to make a play. That's my opinion.
Okay, so you're not ready to discount the possibility of it just being Russia?
Well, yeah, I mean, Russia and their allies, so the Taliban, China, the list goes
Oh
on.
gosh.
To be fair, the
OPEC.
Taliban barely know how to work an AK, let alone a computer, so.
Yeah, they got those F-16s and Humvees working all right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Biden.
Well, there's actually a story, and we'll probably cover this in our special, which will be more about Afghanistan, among many other things, but they were upset that we disabled the choppers before we left. They wanted working American choppers, and we left them dysfunctional ones.
That might be the smartest thing that he has done this entire administration.
I don't think it was the administration's idea to do it.
That might be the smartest thing that they've done either way, is take credit for it. Whoever did that, shout out to you. If I ever see you in a bar, I'll buy you a drink because
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Well, speaking of idiotic countries, China, right? Did something where what I'm going to say is a broken clock is right twice a day. They have banned girly men from being on TV. And what that means is any man that does not meet whatever they define as manly is no longer allowed. And while I think there's a few things that China is doing, and while I disagree with them because they're authoritarian, I'm curious how this is going to play out, I'm also going to jump off the rails here from our show notes. So,
Oh,
a couple of things that on the topic of broken clocks, right, twice a day, and also China, they have recently begun limiting children from being able to play video games. If you're a minor in China, you are only allowed to play 1 hour video games between 8 and 9 p.m. on Friday nights. And that's it. Good news, all your friends will be online. Bad news is that you get 1 hour of video games a week at the designated time. And I was listening to more of a tech related podcast talk about this. And while they don't hold the similar political views that we do, what they did say is that a possibility is that China's just trying this out on children because they can play the think of the children card. And then later on, once they prove that, they're being more productive, they can push this on adults because it's China.
yep, efficiency is king over there, over in the Asian realm.
And then my last thing that I wanted to hit on broken clock twice a day, and I think we'll go more in depth on this in the special, but I just wanted to mention it here because I was, kind of fits in. Apparently, the U.S. in our embassy in Kabul, we painted a George Floyd mural, and the Taliban have went over it and written scripture over it. They painted the wall and then wrote scripture over it. And while I disagree with, the Quran on a personal level, I don't disagree with the idea of them rejecting what they call liberal false gods. And
Wow.
it's one of those things where I'm like, broken clocks and all. I'm not going to say that for just to be clear, I do not agree with the Taliban. I think they're terrible people. But I think they did one thing right, and that was, say that George Floyd is a liberal god and he's an idol and should not be worshipped.
Yeah, I can get behind that. So, real quick, while we're on the Taliban, before we get back to China and Asia as a whole, China is actually expected to work with the Taliban. Even if you ask Beijing Biden, their front man over here in the U.S., we have a link for that where he talks. I forget to who, but he talks to somebody, and yeah, the U.S. administration fully expects China to work with the Taliban. All right, I've got no clue what that's supposed to mean, But maybe something to deal with the Uyghurs that are trying to run away, like you said earlier. Maybe some really malicious things that I'm
Yeah,
not really a fan of.
it's going to be a bad time. That's for sure. Speaking of bad times in China, Hong Kong activists were being arrested for holding a peaceful vigil. Something we here in the West take for granted is something we can do without being arrested usually. I think it was for what was it for Independence Day or something like that, right? It was one of the democracy.
Let's see.
Oh, it was Tiananmen
Pull it up
Square.
here.
That's what it was. They were holding a vigil about standing in front of tanks, and they all got arrested. But it's okay
Yep.
because nothing happened there, right?
Well, it was unauthorized, of course, and by the new Chinese Hong Kong security bill.
Yeah,
This, my friend, is a prisonable offense.
yeah, but it's okay because nothing happened in Tiananmen Square, right?
Yeah, nothing at all. So, yeah,
Nope,
yeah.
I
Oh,
got nothing.
really fun fact. If you write things on the internet or like you do what we do, you have a podcast and such. Chinese people in mainland China are not allowed to disseminate anything that contains the words Tiananmen Square in it. So if you very clearly say Tiananmen Square, the odds of your material being seen by people in mainland China is drastically reduced because they want to eliminate all mentions of Tiananmen Square.
So what you're telling me is that our video is about to be banned in China for the mention of Tiananmen Square.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
All right. So what you're saying is we probably should mention Tiananmen Square, or we should not mention Tiananmen Square.
Oh no, we definitely should because we wouldn't want to incite any more rebellions over there. Okay,
Yeah, we'd hate to.
they want to judicially, if I could speak, start to prosecute people overseas,
Yeah,
which is nuts.
we definitely wouldn't want another Tiananmen Square where nothing ever happened,
Nothing happened on Tiananmen Square. I
especially not
mean
in the
at
'80s.
Tiananmen Square.
What was it, '84?
Yeah,
Nothing happened there.
yeah. So
Anyway,
speaking of some backstabbers,
yeah, I'll let you take
not
this one.
really, not really backstabbers so much as just private business doing what private businesses do. Delta Airlines gives up passengers' personal information to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and this is reported from the Federalist. Excuse me. And this is actually according to the airliner's own privacy policy, which was updated just last month to specifically include this, as I understand it. So yeah, don't do business with Delta Airlines.
Oh yeah, I never really liked him to begin with, but do you have any idea? Did they mention why they're giving that data to them?
I've got no idea. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really read all the way through. I probably should have to be more prepared. But, I just kind of stopped that Delta Airlines gives away a passenger's personal information to another government. And I just said, yeah, I'm just not cool with this no matter what they're doing it for.
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm glad I don't fly Delta at all, personally. Not my preferred flight. I mean, I try
Thank
not to
goodness.
fly at all, but that's that's a personal thing.
I think we've
S
got one more bit here of foreign news to get through.
Yes, we do. North Korea. Well, we technically have two stories on them. Uh, their nuclear reactors where they enrich plutonium have found active for weapons grade plutonium for nuclear weapons. And yeah, they're back to building nukes after
Yeah.
now that they realize that we don't have a president who's going to level them anymore.
Oh, he's not afraid over there anymore. Dang it, man. We were so close. We were so close. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that they're gonna start the nuke testing again and stuff, and then threaten South Korea, and, their buddies with Xi Jinping and China.
Oh, you mean Winnie the Pooh?
Eh, yeah, I mean, it's like a powder keg there, and then there's Taiwan and all the other stuff that's going on.
Taiwan won't exist for much longer. Mark my words. China's going to invade them one way or another.
Well, perhaps not. Perhaps not. We have NATO coming to our defense, my friend. NATO has urged. I can't say this with a straight face. NATO has urged the CCP to join the nuclear arms program. What? Oh my
Please,
gosh.
sir,
That's
don't build nukes. Please.
North Korea and China, man. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm not liking it. North Korea, they're starting to hold some strange military parades at night too. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
using that for propaganda. It's
Parades, more
getting a
like
little
probably
weird there. It's
drills.
getting a little
Which,
weird over there in Asia, if you ask me.
as someone who loves StarCraft, it's gonna be sad when Seoul gets leveled by North Korea because of our inaction.
Oof, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. No, trust me. It's not. It's not a pleasant thought. So let's
Oh,
switch
pray
gears
for
and talk
China.
domestic.
Not China. Pray for Asia, excuse me.
Yes. Well, pray for China too. Pray for them all, realistically. Well, let's talk domestic, Ken. You have a chance to gloat again.
Yep, I sure do. Oh, I love this. I relish it.
Does the winning
If
get
any of you
old?
have, it never gets old, and it never will get old. Am I right, people? We're never tired of winning. We're gonna win again and again. That's all right. Uh, for those of you who may or may not follow my Substack, link will be in the description.
It always
I
is.
actually I released my first article, and it was on Joe Manchin and why I thought he was the most powerful person in U.S. politics. That was in June. Fast forward to September. He is still the most powerful man in U.S. politics.
And
Uh,
now we actually
uh,
see it very actively.
told you so. I told everyone so. This is absolutely great because Joe Manchin is a Democrat who is beholden to Republican voters, which essentially makes him a Republican for
Yeah.
matters like guns and taxes, which are all things that Joe Biden wants to attack and dismantle. That's okay though, because Joe Manchin, like I've been saying from the start, has just asserted his dominance and told the far left obnoxious whiners to be quiet, and he will get what he wants out of this infrastructure deal or it won't pass. That's what he's saying now. You're
Good.
gonna have to make some concessions to me. I don't feel comfortable with that.
All he
And he
has to do
doesn't
is hold
feel
out. All he has to do is hold
if
out for one more year, and then, oh man, that red wave is going to be something.
he is also reportedly not very interested in signing the 3.5 trillion dollar bill with a T, dollar bill, that would massively inflate the currency, raise taxes, and pretty much destroy the economy worse than it is.
You mean he's not interested in being a liberal?
Yeah,
Or a
he
leftist,
likes
I
his
should
job.
specify.
He likes his job, and he likes to represent them well.
He likes
So thank
representing
you.
American ideals, which is we can disagree about the minor things, but we all kind of like this country.
So thank you, Senator Manchin. Thank you for vindicating a young boy from New York who just looks out of his window every day, sees what's going on, and reports it, and people say he's crazy. Thank you, Senator Manchin.
Man, we should have been recording our thoughts for years now.
Oh my gosh. I don't think people would be able to handle it.
It's true. But speaking of Mansion, AOC's friends have found a way around that. They had an incredible idea. What if we
Ooh.
disband the Senate?
Okay, all right. I'm not sure what I was expecting when you said great idea, but that was not it.
But then Joe Biden can put on a cloak and he can go, I am the Senate. And then Joe Manchin comes up and goes, not yet. And then we get an epic lightsaber fight.
Yeah, I'd
But
put
yeah,
my money on Manchin in that one.
side topic. This isn't in the notes anywhere. We talked about it before the show. Trump wants to box Biden. And honestly, I kind of want to pay to watch that. I would pay a lot to watch that, honestly.
My goodness. Oh, Well, while we're on the topic of Trump and boxing, a dangerous combination, he is set to announce at some boxing contest in the near future. I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be really, really big, really hyped up. I'm not a big boxing guy. I'm more an MMA guy. But that, I think, will have way higher ratings than anything Joe Biden's doing that day.
And probably a better like dislike ratio too.
Miles ahead.
But yeah,
I
so
think we, uh,
that's all I
I
was
think
gonna
we need to
say is
talk
that
about.
AOC's being dumb. So yeah, you can go right on into the next topic.
Now we're gonna stick with Trump for a little bit. I think we need to talk about the potential for him gearing up for a 2024 run. Some news reports coming out. He's about 15 pounds slimmer, which is great news. Not just for a presidential run, but just for health reasons. That's great news. And he's also considering, you know, helping out his buddy Jair Bolsonaro and his reelection bid. He's kind of got that presidential experience. Could these be signs, do you think?
Well, I think Trump's gonna run again. Is now personally, I don't want him to run. I would rather see someone else run. Someone younger, someone with more tact, I guess. It still holds the same ideas that the news sucks, the media sucks, the Democrats suck, generally speaking, but it is better at wording it. And I think we should do a short on possible presidential candidates for 2024. But while if Trump runs, Trump probably wins. Realistically, everyone's gonna go, "Fuck, he was good. We liked him, even though we didn't realize it." And then he wins. I don't like it, but it's gonna happen.
You know what? I've been saving this prediction for a little bit now, and I think I actually made it to you in the last election. But I think I'm ready to put it on paper now.
Hit me.
New
What do you
York,
got?
New York, and New England is going to be a swing region in this coming presidential election.
Interesting. I I'm less sure about New England as a whole. Outside of Maine, obviously Maine has always been a swing state, but New York definitely I can see swinging, especially with what's happening currently.
Yeah, they are in the middle of the throes, so to speak. So can't wait to see what this is going to bring. Oh,
Uh,
excuse me. Oh. I think I have one more piece for you on Trump, though, before we continue.
Hit me.
Trump has endorsed a challenger to the notorious conservative Liz Cheney. Let me pull up
Really?
what that name is really quick. Harriet Hagman, I believe is how you pronounce that. And so this will be for the the one seat for the House of Representatives for Wyoming.
Really
Um,
interesting.
I'm starting to think he's making some real power moves here for 2024.
Oh yeah, of course he is. I'm like I said, I don't want him to run again simply because I want someone else to run. But I'll take what I can get at this point. Anything's better than Sleepy Biden, you know?
Joe Biden.
Speaking of things that are terrible, the Freedom Phone has been making some splashes recently. I looked into this a bit from the tech perspective, more so than the Freedom Phone conservative perspective, and it's a load of crap, to be frankly honest with you.
All
It's a
right, now you're being mean. How can a Freedom Phone be crap?
Well, first of all, it's a cheap Chinese phone
Oh,
that runs a Chinese, if I remember correctly, developed operating system. Otherwise, it's
oh,
just some spin off of Android, and essentially, it's just your standard Droid phone, except it's cheaply made and it has Parler pre installed. And that's about it.
All
It
right,
is.
that's pretty good.
It's not a great phone. Would not recommend it. And it's basically just another guy out there selling snake oil because he realizes the market's right for it.
That's a pretty good reason. I'll take that. I'll
Yeah,
take that.
I don't buy one.
Yeah, I don't plan on it. I've got one last piece of domestic news for us before we get into our sides.
Yeah,
Uh, if we could, just ask you viewers at home to please pray for Senator Klobuchar, who has recently revealed that she had a battle with breast cancer. She says she's feeling better now, but these things can take drastic turns. And Tim and I, our prayers will definitely be with her
of course.
in the following weeks.
No one. Doesn't matter if I agree with them or not. Cancer is not something anyone should have to fight.
Absolutely not.
Well, on that sobering note, Ken, do you want to hit into your side topic?
I absolutely can do that. Today, for you guys, I was going to talk a little bit about Joe Biden's approval, but something else better came up. He is trying to implement a vaccine mandate for companies with over 100 employees. And I've got some news for everybody. At the federal level, that will succeed. So federal employees will be mandated, to take the vaccine if Joe Biden wishes. But he cannot impose such arbitrary restrictions on private businesses. Um, and I'll explain this because people have been misusing the 1905 Supreme Court case, Jacobson versus Massachusetts, to falsely claim that this gives the government the power to mandate vaccines. It's semantically correct. The government, I use with air quotes, does have the technical legal authority to mandate vaccines, but only at the state level because of the 10th Amendment. There is no provision in the United States Constitution that gives the federal government, the President of the United States, the Congress, and the Supreme Court, the authority to impose such restrictions. But because it doesn't fall to them, within the scope of the 10th Amendment, it would fall to the states, which is correctly what the Supreme Court ruled in 1905, ruling against Jacobson and for the state of Massachusetts. So, all that being said, um, this will be an epic failure if it hits the Supreme Court. They will. I have a feeling that it'll be like a 6-3 decision that they'll strike it down. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. It could be 5-4. It won't. It will not persist. That you can take to the bank. That's a guarantee. He cannot mandate private businesses to force vaccination or whatever else. It's just not possible under the 10th Amendment.
On top of that, a lot of businesses and states are pushing back. Obviously, we are big fans of the Daily Wire here because they are really the leading voice of conservative news. And Jeremy Boring has come out and basically told Biden to go F himself. And we all went, good job. Thumbs up. But on top of that, a handful of governors, something like 20 at this point actually, have all come out and said that there's no way that they're going to let that happen, including the great state of Oklahoma, which is one of the first like 5 or 6 to say we're not taking that. That's not happening here. And in fact, our attorney general is filing a lawsuit against the Biden administration for it. You love to
So
see it.
take heart, all you conservatives who are afraid of this jab thing, who have been blackpilled and demoralized so bad that you think the end is right around the corner. It's really not. Trust me. We're in such a great position. We're going to smooth sail into the midterms, sail smooth right into the presidency, and we're going to have 4 years to fix the Joe Biden mistakes. Hopefully.
Yeah. Now, if I may, my side topic is a little bit more somber, and this wasn't my original side topic. I don't remember what I was thinking, but I saw this on Instagram yesterday, I think, and I realized that I needed to switch my side topic immediately because this mattered more to me.
Go ahead. The floor is all yours.
There's a group. There's called Our Rescue. OUR. They're called the Operation Underground Railroad. They work extensively against human trafficking across the globe, and especially the trafficking of minors for sex work. And they posted a story about one of their guys about his first time going undercover to work against it, and it's such a powerful story because essentially he talks about how like he'd traveled the world and everything, like nothing could surprise him, right? And he walks into, I don't remember what country he was in, but he was surprised at like, how, because he's like the back alleys of some third world country. And he was talking about how he goes into a bar, they order drinks, and it's essentially a sting operation to find out where these young girls are being held. And so he orders drinks, he goes to the bathroom, he comes back, and there's a couple of young girls at the table. And, as foreigners, you expect beggars, especially in these parts of the country, in these third world countries, because $1 goes a very long way in a lot of the world. Like, we take $1 for granted. Like, we can't even buy McDonald's for $1 anymore. But to a lot of people, $1 is more than they'll see in the next year or so. And so he comes back, and the little girls, he just assumes they're beggars. And then he finds out that that's the entertainment that was being given to them by the owner of the establishment. And so you take the girls into the room, and as most people would do, you have your way with them. But they sit down and talk with the girls, and apparently the girls were no older than 11 at this point. And then when they found out the cost to rent the girls for the night, $9. Of course, they ended up going to the police. The place gets raided and shut down. Managers get arrested, but apparently that girl was never found when they were going through and liberating all the girls. And it's just, I don't know, man. Stuff like this just really makes me want to just burn down a country or two,
Jeez, let's not let's not do that. But I understand
Yeah.
the sentiment.
Obviously, I'm being dramatic, and for legal reasons, no, I'm not going to burn down a country or two. But I I would do a lot. I would do almost anything in my power to shut down people like this, because the fact that this is a growing business across the world, it sickens me. I have put links to this article, and I'm going to put a link to joining the fight, like how you can help out with their organization, in our show notes and in the description of the podcast, because there are very few things that I think are worth supporting, and this is one of them. So that's about all I got.
I couldn't agree with you more. It makes me sick, and I'm glad to help promote this as well.
Well, I think that's about all we got for this week. Other than that, I hope you all have enjoyed your time. We're back. We're going to start doing this again, back on our weekly schedule. Other than that, I hope you all have a great week, and God bless.